Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I want to share some thoughts and theories I had about the trailer that just dropped for Stranger Things Season 3. Obviously, if you have not seen it, I'll include a link to it in the description down below. But a lot of interesting things already give us a little bit of the tone of what we can expect from Season 3, in the sense of, obviously, it seems like Dustin went away for a little while and he came back, whether it's summer camp or whatever. But for him, it feels like he's the only one that's still stuck being a kid, because everyone is like, no, we're older now, which is interesting because obviously it plays into the fact is obviously the kids of Stranger Things are getting older too. And so it's like, oh, we can't be so caught up in this kids thing of, hanging out in my basement all the time. And it's like, obviously, because this is the whole process of everyone, trying to have normal lives after everything. Obviously from Season 1 to Season 2, everyone tried to do that, but there was a lot of unfinished stuff because everything was 11 and everything. Obviously Will was still going through some stuff at the time. So there's a situation of everyone's trying to move on, have normal lives and stuff like that, and you have Dustin being caught in a situation of hey, maybe I'm not the one that's, I need to grow up, but I don't want to. It's everyone's got, because let's not forget, he's the only one that walked away from Season 2 not having a girlfriend, actually, because there's Max and Lucas, and then there's Eleven and Mike. To be fair, Will doesn't have a girlfriend, but I think he did end up getting a lot of attention from girls just because it's oh yeah, his situation that he was in, afterwards, people stopped being weird around him. So, Dustin got left out in that part too. So it's he feels probably even more so how Lucas felt with Eleven and Mike in Season 1. You probably feel like Dustin's the outsider even more so now amongst their group, because everyone else is moving on and just doing other things, and you probably feels a little left behind. And you see the only person in the trailer, and I love that little bit about him and Steve, I guess it's them with lightsabers going ju-ju-ju. And it's so interesting because even the lady's how many, kids are you friends with? And Steve's to be fair, because it's I mean, a lot of his friends that are about his age, a lot of those relationships, we've never seen him repair them. Obviously they got destroyed in Season 1, but we've never seen him really do. The only other people he'd kick it with around his own age would be Nancy and Jonathan, but they're off doing their own thing. So it especially because him and the kids, obviously he took over almost this big brother role, more so babysitter role last season, and especially out of anyone, him and Dustin grew closer together, so that, definitely plays a part in it. But I'm sure even that relationship is going to get to the point where it's Steve's, working and everything, he's got his own life to live, so he, he's the most kid-like of them all, but even he probably has a situation of he'll have to grow up, and that'll probably make Dustin feel even more alone. And talking on some of those same lines, it seemed Jonathan and Nancy, I mean, I could be misinterpreting it, but I thought that was them being oh, we have to figure our lives out too. There's still the whole Joyce and Hopper thing of you see him on a date, but I'm pretty sure the way they cut it to make it look like she's having dinner somewhere else makes it seem okay. Because obviously her last relationship ended tragically, it did the whole, R.I.P. Bob, that whole situation. And because I always felt oh, Hopper and Joyce, but it never happened. And maybe this is going to be the season to make that, end up happening. That whole dinner date thing, that might end up being Joyce, but I felt because obviously they didn't show you who he was at dinner with, but I feel that's probably him trying to get back out in the dating world, whatever, and it not necessarily working out. We'll see. But the other big thing, obviously, is it seems based on the trailer, it seems obviously the world between the normal world and the upside down world, it seems those lines are blurring. It seems the upside down is trenching into the real world a lot more. Cause obviously Season 2's finale ended with oh, there's these whole bunch of mind flares you see in the sky and stuff like that. So the question then becomes okay, so where do we go from there? We get little bits and pieces here. It looks at one point you can see what I assume it looked like it was Billy had a mark on his arm. So I think it's a situation of, what Will went through last season. We might be seeing a lot more people in the real world getting infected by stuff from the upside down and becoming monsters and stuff like that, which also begs the question oh, are we going to save Billy or not? I'm also curious, is Billy going to have his redemption arc? Because Steve had his redemption arc back in Season 1, and we continue to see him being turning all around in Season 2 as well. But it's Billy was the asshole of Season 2, so I'm curious. I mean, we found out why, because their dad's, him and Max's dad's an asshole, so there's that whole situation. So I'm curious to see if they're going to turn Billy around or not. It seemed he might just end up being a victim in this, whether or not he gets, Barbara, sadly, or whether it's just hey, we can save him, who knows? Maybe he's going to be a villain in the sense of he feeds into it, him being this angry person might feed the creature. Obviously last season, you know, we got introduced to the Mind Flayer. It was one in particular, but as we can see, there were multiples. Like obviously we're still continuing to develop what is essentially the Upside Down, learning more about it. It seems like there's like some assassin people there. At the very least, it looked like they are government people there. So we're definitely probably got the government there, and Hawkins trying to cover up a lot more of the shady stuff that was going down before, trying to figure out what's going on. I'm sure that won't end well for them, because it hasn't ended well for anyone else previously, because a lot of stuff about like 11's papa that still needs to kind of be delved into. That was something that was kind of tackled a little bit in season 2 again, but not fully, so there's still a lot of stuff unanswered there. There's even stuff with the whole like, oh, sister, I mean 11 having a sister, that whole like group, like we didn't see them at all pop up in the trailer. At least maybe I missed it, but I mean obviously this isn't the only trailer. There's probably gonna be, you know, a second trailer that's gonna come out much later, probably closer to, you know, release date of season 3, which is, you know, July 4th. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see like what they end up going up against. It's also interesting because it seems like the mall is the main focus. I guess that's going to be kind of like the hub for everything going down. And it also seems like 11 herself seems like she's being like, because out of anyone, she has a deeper connection to the Upside Down than anyone. I mean, I guess you make the argument Will definitely has his. I mean, that was more so, you know, obviously probably like having escaped it, but maybe there was more latched onto him. There might be a connection, like the Upside Down might have implanted part of itself in Will. So like, you know, obviously it seems like, hey, he might have escaped it last season, you know, but maybe there is still something somewhere inside of him still connected to it. You know, definitely 11 is, and so we might see her kind of being more so pulled into that world as well. Like, I'm very interested to see, you know, what ends up, you know, being the case with season 3. Like I said, I'll probably have more thoughts and stuff, you know, once the next trailer ends up coming out. Like I said, that'll probably be a lot closer to the release date, but still. Like I said, these are just my thoughts and everything. Let me know yours in the comments down below about the trailer. What are some things you think we might see in season 3? Some things you want to see? Let me know your thoughts. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this video. Until the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good